All right, we're Craig and Megan Zechman, and our daughters, Abigail and Mariana, 6 and 8, almost 9. I grew up as a Christian. I'm actually the son and grandson of a United Methodist pastor. We met in college, got married shortly thereafter, traveled around, or lived a little bit in Pennsylvania, spent some time in the great state of Michigan in Ann Arbor, moved to New Jersey just outside of New York for a little bit. Then I got the opportunity to come down here and work for an entertainment company that's run by a mouse. And having 2 young girls, we thought that was a good opportunity for us. So we came down here. When we got together and started our married life, we had a goal of working towards tithing to our local congregation. And we would always say, you know, when you get the next pay raise, we'll go up 1% in our giving. 15 years into marriage, we still hadn't hit the tithe. It wasn't until we took Financial Peace University and we reprioritized our financials that we started to put God first, because we realized that God has blessed us with so much, with health, with a family, with everything that we need, that it's only right for us to give back to Him. And so we give back to Him first. That's the first thing that we do when we get paid, is we tithe back to the church. And that's just been a great blessing for us. So now, since we've gone through the course, it's been about 2 years that we've been tithing to our local congregation.
I grew up not in the church. I have very liberal parents, a couple of hippies, and there's never seemed to be enough money to go around. There was always the wants and needs and a lot of fear in my house. And I grew up with that sense that connected to me with money, that there was just never going to be enough, and I was always worried that there wasn't going to be enough. And Dave Ramsey says that women in general have this worry gland, and mine is just huge when it comes to money. So I married a Christian, and then, you know, you start to go to church, and then what do you mean you want me to give 10% of my money away? I need that money. I can't give that away. What will we live on? And when you go through the course, Dave tells you, if you can't live off of 90, you really can't live off 100. And what we realized was, when we did start to give the full 10%, we found a way to do it from the very beginning of the course, even though we were in debt and we were paying off the debt, that money just kept coming in, and we were able to still do it in a great timeline. And the math didn't work, but God did, and He's blessed us ever since, that we're honoring Him.
Well, I met them for the first time this week at Sweet Tomatoes on Wednesday night. And, you know, the reason you go to Sweet Tomatoes is not for the healthy eating, it's for that soft ice cream at the end. I was so fascinated by the story they told me that I didn't even get that ice cream at all. They did an amazing thing with God's help and the parameters that are guidelines that come from Dave Ramsey, who's a committed Christian himself, in reducing their debt. So tell us how much it was and how long it took you.
We paid off $33,000 in 16 months.
You hearing that? Anybody would like to do that? $33,000. Now, what kind of debt was that?
That was, I didn't want to take the course at first. Craig did, and we actually sat out one cycle of the course at our church. As far as I was concerned, we weren't in debt. We had about $3,500 in credit card. You know, everybody has credit card bills, but it wasn't tens of thousands, and we could pay them. We had a car payment. Everybody has a car payment. That's not debt. We had a student loan from undergrad. We paid off his grad school, but we still had undergrad. But everybody has a student loan. That's not debt. We're not in debt. And finally, I was training for a marathon with our worship leader who started it at our church, and I started listening to Dave, and I'm like, all right, let's go, we'll take it. And it not only changed our financial life, it changed the whole way we think about anything. And we now truly believe what the Bible says, that the borrower is slave to the lender, and we don't borrow anything. We do still have a mortgage. Our goal is to pay that off as quickly as we can, but we will never borrow money again, because it comes with tithes, and it doesn't enable you to give and do what you want. You lose your freedom with it.
Well, since you mentioned about that, talk about the car purchase you made recently.
So we got out of debt in August 2009, and in October, my family was in a pretty serious car accident that totaled our van. And so we got about $10,000 in settlement from our insurance company, and we decided we were going to follow these principles of not taking on new debt. So we also wanted to try Dave Ramsey saying, pay cash for everything. So over the course of several days, I went into the credit union, And I pulled out money, and at the end, I had $10,000 in cash. And we went to a car dealership, about $5,000 in each pocket, sat down to talk about, found a car we liked, sat down to talk, and the guys, we said, well, we got $10,000, that's what we need out the door. And the guy was like, well, that was if you had a trade-in. We didn't have a trade-in because our car was totaled. So he goes, it's $14,000, but $4,000, why don't we just finance that $4,000?
It's only $4,000.
It's only $4,000. We said, no, we don't finance. We don't take on this type of debt. So we kind of talked with him a while and then got up and walked out. And that was hard, just to get up and walk out, but it wasn't right. So we went to another car dealership the following weekend, found a car, said $10,000 out the door. He agreed to it. He goes, how are you paying? I said, cash. And he starts writing up the invoice, and I start taking out piles of $1,000 in cash and laid 10 piles out there, and he just kind of looked at me. I said, cash. And then he had to go to his wife and see if she had money in his purse because he owed me some change back because it had just come under $10,000, so he had to go find some change. But it was real freeing because then we got in the car and we drove off, and there was no payment following us home.
They also have made some adjustments, significant adjustments, and some of the things that you think you really need and things that you don't need in your household expenses.
We work really hard to cut our bills. You have everyday bills that you're just not going to get rid of unless you live in a tent in the wilderness and don't have any expenses. So we line dry our clothes, and we try to combine cooking. I use my crock pot a lot. And he's wanted to get rid of cable forever, and I'm a big TV person, and I didn't want to. And they kept raising the rates. And they raised it like 10 cents one time when we were in Financial Peace, and I lost my mind because I was just so frustrated. When I started taking Financial Peace, I started to feel like prey, that everybody just wanted my money, and everybody wanted something, and they felt that they had the right to keep raising it. And I went crazy, and I'm like, that's it, we're done, cut it off, call. And he did, and it took him like an hour, almost an hour to get off the phone with him because they were begging us to stay. We could have kept it for a year for $1. I'm like, no, we're done. And that's what helped us. I got so angry, and I'm the one that does the budget, and I wanted out. I just wanted to be out. And we weren't in the situation that some people are, but we would still wake up in the middle of the night sometimes like, oh, gosh, we really want to do this, but we have to do this and we have to do that. And I wanted out. I just wanted to be different.
Mm-hmm. And so you don't watch TV at all now?
No, I never watch TV. No, we have over the air. We put an antenna up. Your homeowners association cannot not allow you to have an antenna up on your roof. And we got the little cable boxes that we got for free when they had the coupons, and it looks like cable. It's the same exact quality because everything went digital. And all the shows that I watched before on USA or TNT are online for free. So I watch them online. And I don't pay the man anything.
Pay the man.
And we got Netflix. We did splurge, and so we spent $14.95 a month. We figured we could go from $75 to $14.95. And the girls, they gave up their Disney, so when we do go, we stay on property a couple times a year, and they kind of OD on Disney Channel and cable. But the rest of the time, PBS, and we don't watch TV as much as we did.
Mm-hmm, right. Well, you've talked this morning about your family tree and what it means for the next generation. Say something about that.
Yeah, so for us, family has always been important, and we don't have a lot of our immediate family here in Florida. We don't have any, actually. So we really try to create a family nucleus that's very strong. And we wanted to, coming through the course, we wanted to change the financial future of our kids. Our parents weren't very good about talking to us about finances.
We're very good with finances.
Or very good with finances. And so we wanted to be different. So it's not just the two of us who went through the course. We took our girls, and so we talk openly with them about our finances, appropriately, respective of their age. But they know that debt is bad, and if they see us use our debit card, they're like, that's not a credit card, is it? It's like, no, it's debit, it's debit. And so, it's really about changing their lives, because while we have dreams and hopes and aspirations for ours, we're trying to change their lives so that it's significantly different. And we know now from what we've gone through and what we've learned and what we're teaching them that they will never take on a car payment. They will pay cash for school. and we'll find ways to do it, but they won't have to deal with being burdened by debt. And we used our oldest daughter when we were teaching the course in a commercial, and at the end of the commercial, as we were kind of advertising for trying to get people to sign up for the class, she said, because of the choices my family has made, my sister and I will retire as millionaires. And that's the truth. And it's gratifying as a parent to know that we've changed their lives so that they'll have so much more.
So what do you have to say then for folks who are grandparents or great-grandparents who have come through their careers and now are in retirement?
We had a few people like that in the courses. We've taught the course twice. We took it once and then we've taught it twice and have done numerous counseling with people within our church as well. And the retirees got so much out of it. And we had some come through with debt, and we had some that didn't have debt. But the course is so much more than just a financial course. It really challenges the way you look at the world, and you really have to work on your communication. You have to learn how to talk to one another about money, and that translates into other areas, and you really start communicating about everything. We had a couple that we're good friends with that have been married 50 years, and they said they've never communicated better than after they took that course, because they really had to sit down and face some things that they were kind of hiding from. And maybe you're a great communicator with your spouse and you're debt-free and you don't believe in debt, which is a great thing, but maybe you have grandkids that you can pass this on to, or great-grandkids, or your children. So maybe it isn't for you per se, but maybe a neighbor. I don't think any of us doesn't know someone who's in debt or couldn't use the peace that comes along with not having all your money kind of go out to other things to be able to give.
Craig, as we come closer to the end here, tell the story from Candlelight Processional.
So we got debt-free in August of last year, and I have the privilege of participating in the Epcot Candlelight Processional as a cast choir member. And since we don't have family here, we've made it a tradition as a family that I'll sing at the 5:30 show, and then we'll eat on property on Christmas Day, just to enjoy the atmosphere. And this year, after we ate, the bill came, and of course we had cash, but this year we chose, because we were debt-free, to bless someone else. And so we were able to leave a $100 tip for our waitress. Just kind of slid it in the billfold and walked out the door. And just, hoped that when she opened that, her Christmas was made, because she realized that someone was recognizing her and thanking her for her hard work, and maybe she can use it, to pay down debt or do what she needs to use it for. But before, we would have never done that. We would have been like, all right, what's 15, 18%? Leave that. And this was, She's working on a holiday. We need to bless her as we've been blessed. And we just laid it down. And it was a great feeling for us.